Hey guys, Sean Terry here. What is up? Driving in the car, just came back from an appointment with a motivated seller that owns a ton of apartment complexes. All right, so the question is, you go in, you're talking to a motivated seller, and you're at the close, right? What do you do to close the deal, to get them to sign the contract? So after you have went through your whole presentation, you built rapport, you've got the repair sheet, you do all that type of stuff, how do you get them to sign the contract? A lot of people are stuck on that because, like me, when I first got started, right, I go in, I build the rapport. I was great at building rapport. I could build a rapport with a seller, no problem. I would, have no problem going in, walking through the house and looking for repairs, and then came down, even actually, justifying my price, showing logic there in my price, no problem. Had no problem doing that. But then I got down to the end, and I would, that's where I get the awkward feeling of, okay, now what? So after I go through the contract and I present my offer, my number, and I'd say, okay, $100,000, $150,000. And I kind of sit there and go, so what do you think? What do you think? I said, do you want to sell your house to me? That's what I'd say. Now, I know. I didn't really have much sales training, didn't know a lot about it, but that's what I do. And they would not want to sell the house. They go, oh, well, I want to think about it. And I go, okay, you can think about it. When would be a good time I could follow up? And they go, I'll follow up with you. And that's the end of the deal. I walk out of the house and I get no contract, right? It would suck. So the bottom line is that having closing questions after you present your offer is absolutely critical. And it's critical because, otherwise you're going to get into I want to think about it, and I have to overcome the objection. If you don't overcome the objection, then they're going to, they're not going to be able to, let me just move my AC lever up here. They won't sign the contract. So going in with confidence, knowing exactly what to say is critical. All right, so what are the three surefire closing questions? First one is an alternate choice close. All right, so picture this. You go over to the meet with the seller. You walk through the house. You build rapport. And the first rule of thumb is this, right? Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let's get my hand over the speaker here. Okay. The first rule of thumb is this. Number one is whoever names the first number first loses. Whoever names the first number first loses. So your goal when you're building rapport with the seller is to try to, and this sun's weird, I know, you're trying to get them to give you a number of what they want for the property. So what I do is when I'm walking around the seller, right, and I'm talking to them, I'm saying, hey, I know you told me a number over the phone, and this is after I've kind of went through the house with them. I'm talking to them, building rapport a little bit. But as I'm walking through the house, I'm saying, hey, so you gave me a number, what were you thinking to get for this property again? And, I'm trying to prompt them to give me a number. If I can get them to give me a number, I'd much rather have their number first, and I can negotiate off that. For an example, we got this one deal under contract. If we would have went in, our offer price on this property, our low offer price was like $150,000. We went in, we talked to the seller, and we said to the seller, hey, where do you want to be? What's a good number for you to sell the property? What do you think is fair? Based upon the condition, all those type of questions. And said to the seller, and the seller goes, give me $95,000 and it's a deal. Where our number was $150,000, our bottom line number, and he said, give me $95,000, it's a deal. Okay, so what did we do? We go, oh no, Mr. Seller, sorry, we're going to give you $150,000. No, we gave him exactly what he wanted, $95,000, signed the deal up, and he made, because he owned the property free and clear, he made $95,000. We walked away with the $85,000. Everybody's happy. It was a smoking deal. So the bottom line is you got to try to get the first number first out of the seller. If you can't, that's okay. Right? If you can't get the number out of the seller first, that's okay. Then you got to be low. Okay, so now that's why the repair sheet is so incredibly important. If you're not working off a detailed, specific repair sheet and you're able to, really add up those repairs. Now, this is difficult on a property that's it's a 2015 built property. It's in great condition. The deals you get the most smoking deals on are the deals that are, built in the 1980s and below, or, those historic neighborhoods where they haven't been touched in 30, 40, 50 years. Those you can have repair sheets. They're 40, 50, 60,000, even $100,000 repair sheets. So you got to have a detailed repair sheet. And if you have a detailed repair sheet, that repair number has got to be something logical that completely makes sense, and it's got to be legit, right? So when you're negotiating with a seller and you have the lowest of the low comps, and then you have your repair sheet, right? So let's say retail value is $200,000, right? All the low comps are selling for $120, and you have a repair sheet at 10 grand, you're going to get down to 110 logically. But if you have a repair sheet that's 30, 40, 50 grand, right? Now you take, you take 120,000. Now you're down to $60,000, $70,000 range. Now you're talking. And then you can negotiate off there with the seller. But you got to know your top line number, what the most you can offer going in right from the start. Okay. So those are just offline little tidbits. So anyways, the bottom line is three surefire closing questions. Alternate choice close. So you walk the house with a seller, you do the repair sheet, you make sure you get that to the right number. You're negotiating, building rapport. You cannot get a number out of them. No matter what you do, you cannot get a number out of them. So you're forced to go through and present your offer to the seller. That means you've got to show logical comps, right? And you've got to show repair sheet. And that logical comps and repair sheet is going to get you to an offer number, and that offer number has got to be low enough for you to be able to negotiate off. Now, once you get that offer number and you make your offer, then comes the closing question, right? Now we got a closing question. Now the closing question, alternate choice close, would say, after you present your number, so you say, hey, Mr. Seller, so when would you like to close? Would you like to close Friday, or would you like to close on Monday? And the seller goes, So now what are you doing? You're asking a question, and now the seller's going to answer the question. So is the question, do you want to take the price of $70,000? That's not the question. The question is, when do you want to close? Friday or Monday? Now, then you shut up. Whoever speaks after that closing question next loses. So you have got to bite your lip. There's going to be an odd silence. You're going to feel weird because there's going to be like 25 or 30 seconds are going to delay, right? And you're sitting there biting your lip. I bit my lip to where the inside of my lip is bleeding because I'm sitting there, I don't want to say a word, right, to the seller. So once you ask that closing question, whoever talks first loses. Remember that. Don't be the guy that's going to lose. So you ask the closing question. So let me ask you a question, Mr. Seller. When would you like to close? Friday or Monday? So what's going on in the seller's head? It diverts him off your $70,000 offer, right? And now it puts him on Friday or Monday. Let's go Friday or Monday. And they go, Friday, great. Let's close on Friday. I'll put the date in here, and you write it in the contract. And from that point forward, you assume the sale, right? You assume the sale. It's an alternate choice close. Another close is, let me ask you a question, Mr. Seller. Would you like to get a check from the title company for your proceeds, or would you like to get a wire? It's a great closing question, right? Would you get a check or wire? So what does he think about? See, what you're doing is you're future pacing with the seller. You're future pacing. You're getting him to think in the future of a check or wire, right? You're future pacing when you want to close, Friday or Monday. Closing question, great closing question, right? So all those are gold. So another one would say, let me ask you a question, Mr. Seller. When we close, do you want to leave the keys at title, or should I come pick them up at the house? And they go, well, just, leave the keys at title. Great. So all those say, and then after they answer the closing question, what's going to happen is you're going to assume the sale. They say, I want to close on Monday. Great. Perfect. Now what you do is now you're going to fill out the contract. You're going to put the Monday date. You're going to put their name and their information because you're going to have that on the tax record sheet there, right? They're the person able to bind the contract with their signature because they own the property. You're going to put in the purchase price in there that you offered, 120, 110, 70, whatever the number is. You're going to fill it out and say, great, if you just we'll say it looks like right here, we're closing on Monday, the purchase price is this, it looks like your information's here. You're kind of going through it with them. And then here, and here's the signature line. If you just fill it out here, I'll sign it here, and then we'll get this paperwork over to the title company, and we'll start the process. Okay. And now you have got the deal closed. Now they sign the contract, right? Now, I don't want to get into the next step because I got two more surefire questions I want to basically cover. But essentially after that, a couple things are going to happen. Number one is the seller is going to come up with an objection. And this is what I call the objection annihilation method. So where now, if you know the objection they are going to go overcome, and you can answer that objection, then you can get them to sign the contract, right? And everything brings back to an alternate choice close. Everything bring back the objection. When you answer the objection, brings it back to an alternate choice close. So what are some objections? Well, I want to think about it. Or your offer price is too low. Or I got to talk to my realtor. Or I got to talk to my uncle. Or I got to talk to my attorney. All those are objections, and literally, you've got to be able to overcome those objections. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to overcome that objection, answer the objection correctly, and then not get to the close. Okay, so that the next step after you've answered the objection, right, is and here's why. Just so you understand, here's why people will give you an objection. Most people, now think about it, 95% of the people are going to sell their house retail. They're going to call up a realtor just like you and I. They're going to list the house. They're going to get the highest and best price they can, and they're going to sell it for, 95% of everybody you and I know is going to sell for retail, right? We got that. There is the 3 to 5% that are going to sell their house at 50, 60, 70 cents on the dollar because they don't want to fix it up. They don't want to deal with retail. They're in a distressed situation, whatever the case may be. It's typically people in those type of distressed situations, right, don't like making decisions. People that make decisions quickly and then change them slowly, that's a success trait. Most people that sell their house at 40, 50, 60 cents on the dollar is typically not a successful person. They're not they don't have that success trait, right? So what do? They make decisions very slowly, if and when they ever make decisions. So they're used to procrastinating, putting off a decision because they don't want to commit or something like that. So what do? We have to, as the person that's going to help them out of the situation, or they're going to lose the house in foreclosure, or whatever, we're going to be able to go there and help them make a decision so they are able to get this problem property off their hands, okay? So they're giving you an objection because they don't like making a decision. So what we got to do is overcome the objection in a logical fashion, direct it right back to the 3 surefire closing questions, round number 1, and then be able to get that deal closed, okay? Get that contract signed, okay? So, next question. Next one. So you got the alternate choice. Alternate choice is incredibly important. Alternate choice, is a very easy one. A or B. Just pick your A or B. If they land on B, you win. If they pick Monday, you win. If they pick Friday, you win. If they pick checker wire and you got your checker wire, this guy slowed down for me pretty fast. But you got checker wire, right? If they pick check, you win. If they pick wire, you win, right? So alternate choice close, whatever they pick and whatever they land on, you win, okay?